Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd like to share with you how I made this rather attractive looking bracelet using rose quartz beads and rose quartz chips with silver wire. To make this bracelet I'm going to be using 20 gauge wire, and I've got some rose quartz round beads which are 8mm round beads, and then I've got some rose quartz chips that I'm going to be using on the sides, and some electrical tape, and then of course my jump rings, extended chain and my clasp. So what I've done is I've cut my lengths of wire, and I've got 5 lengths at 35 centimeters each, and what I've done is I've taped them together with some of that electrical tape so that it holds all the wires together, and they're all lying flat next to each other. So now what you're going to do is try and separate them just a little bit. So putting 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and you've got 1 in the middle. So this is just a regular 3-strand plaiting. So taking the one side, you can start whichever side you want, and then just fold that over, trying to get a nice curve. I hold it in the middle there so that it gets quite a nice curve going in. So now this piece becomes the center piece. So now doing the same on the other side, crossing, going over and taking it into the middle. It's a little bit fiddly on here until we get going with our pattern. So we've got it looking like that. Now once again you take the outside one, putting your little curve in it, just straighten your wires as you're going, holding it and bringing it into the center. So your pattern is now looking like that, and then we can start actually adding our beads now. So now what I've done is I've threaded my one bead on the center one. So now hold it in place over there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to curve the outside, or the left hand side one, around the bead, keeping it up as high as we can, and just bending it around the bead. Try and make sure you get a nice curve going. Then curve the right hand side one over the bead so that it encases your bead. Try and make sure that you've got all your wires lying flat. So that's the start of the pattern. Now the next thing we're going to do is on this piece of wire we're going to start adding the little chips. Because the little chips are quite small, I'm actually putting 2 little chips on there and holding it in place. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bend the single wire back so that it's now into the middle again, and that should hold those all in place. And now every time you move the wire, the single wire, you then put your beads onto the wire. So holding it like that, so you move the wire into the middle and add one of the big beads now. So we've got it all looking like that. Now we're going to add another one of the chips onto the side here. So just threading one of the chips on, and that will fit just in the corner there. Now we're going to take that piece and cross it over the top and bring it into the middle. So we've got it looking like that. So all you have to do is make sure that you keep your wires so that they're not crossing over each other. Just remembering every time you move the single wire, you need to put a bead on if that's what you choose to do. So now we're back into that position there where we've got it all nicely in the center, and now we're going to bring the right hand side ones over the bead to trap it in place and hold it quite nicely and firm there. So once again, just holding it all together and just buckle the wire so that it's crossing over, making sure that your wires don't cross over and that they're lying flat next to each other like that. And now we've reached the single wire again, and now we're going to add another chip to that, and all you have to do is just continue all the way down doing the exact same thing until you have the length that you need. So I've continued braiding now, and I've got the desired length that I want, and that's what it looks like. And now it comes time to finishing it off. Now once you get to the last piece here, just do an extra braid on the end here without any stones in it. So now we're going to finish it off. So making sure that your single wire is in the center. Now you'll notice this particular one is going underneath the other one. So what we want to do now is we're going to fold it up and wrap it around your single wire so we can finish that off. So just wrap it as tight as you can. And then we're going to trim that off. So I'm just taking some pliers and squishing them down as tight as they can go. And now I'm going to just cut those off. So you'll notice there's a little tail there. Take your pliers and just flatten it so that it does not poke into or catch on to anything. So rolling your pliers around so that it squashes it really nice and flat. Just check with your fingers that nothing is poking out. So now you can see the center wire is not really running directly out the front of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and bend it slightly at an angle like that, and then straighten it out so that it's running right down the center of your bracelet. Now this one here is going over, so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the single wire on the other side. So going up and then wrapping it around the top of that particular piece. Once again, try and wrap it as tight as what you can do without crossing your wires over. And then we're going to trim that one off as well. And once again, squash those down so that they don't catch onto or cut anybody's skin. And there's the end part of the bracelet finished off. Now we're going to put the loop on the end, leaving just a small gap at the bottom. And then what we're going to do is bend the wire so that we've got a little curve, and I'm just using some round nose pliers, and then we're going to make a loop all the way around so that it's a complete circle. You can go all the way around. So you've got a circle like that. Then holding it in place, we're going to wrap this wire around and fill that little wee gap in over there. just leaving a tiny little gap like that, so when we cut this it can slot into there. And then taking your pliers and squashing that flat so that once again it does not catch on to anybody or cut anybody's skin. Use your fingers to feel that it doesn't touch or protrude at all. And then just do the same on the other side. And now we have to just shape the bracelet. So you can wrap it around a mandrel if you want, or you can just take your hands and just slowly bend it into shape. Don't bend it all in one go, just go gently round and round and round so that you eventually get the shape that you want. For myself personally, I like a bit of an oval shape because it seems to sit just that much better on your wrist. So as you can see, it sits quite nicely like that. I unfortunately have very thin wrists, so this one would be too big for me, but this is the normal size for bracelets, which is 7 inches or 18 centimeters. I've attached the jumper rings and the extender chain, so now the bracelet is completed, and that's what it looks like. If you found this video helpful or you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.